Some people act completely different when they think no one is watching, but cameras never miss a thing, and today they caught moments that were never meant to be seen. From funny fails to shocking behavior, these clips prove one thing: someone is always watching. Sometimes life doesn't go your way, and sometimes it's simply your lucky day. Outdoor adventures aren't really her favorite thing. She prefers spending time at the gym, but at least everyone had fun. She's always the first one to sell everything at her stand. Imitating Vin Diesel in this vehicle isn't exactly smart. If this hadn't been caught on camera, no one would believe it happened. Wrong place at the wrong time. If you've ever played Counter-Strike, this has definitely happened to you. We totally understand her rage. He heard a scratching sound coming from his vehicle. They were absolutely shocked by what they found. Just a split second of inattention, and he lost control. An unbelievable scene from the highway where a plane made an emergency landing. Luckily, no one was hurt. It started out as a normal workday, but then things took a turn. Because of her, her team is a crowd favorite. This is the reason these vehicles aren't allowed on these specific streets. If you've ever been to certain Asian countries, you must have come across these interesting toilets. It's a mirror on the outside, but you can see everything from the inside. Would you dare to use this restroom? Just when I think I've seen it all, I come across clips like these. He trained for years for this moment, and he finally made it. His life changed forever after he pulled out this gold bar. India is built different. This video says it all. He went through a lot of trouble just to give her a tip. Before we go any further, I'd like to ask you to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, let us know in the comments which country you're watching from. We'd love to see where our amazing audience is tuning in from the most. The guy flew out with the extinguisher like he was filming a Die Hard sequel, not putting out his neighbor's BBQ. This guy stretches the phyllo dough so professionally he could use it as a bedsheet for a king-size bed. The cops stopped 3 lanes of traffic just so a duck family could cross the street without paying a fine. Trucks are dancing Swan Lake on this ice better than professional ballet dancers. This is the only time an excavator operator didn't dig a hole in the budget, but actually did something useful for nature. Some people struggle to get out of bed while she balances on a stick with weights as if gravity doesn't exist. The guy fell off the cliff and turned skiing into a very extreme method of clearing snow with his own body. Balancing on one leg over weights is a great way to end up in the ER or on the viral video of the year. The little girl goes door to door conducting legal sugar extortion under the threat of being cute. Dribbling a ball while paragliding is the ultimate fear of the ball going into the neighbor's yard, quite literally. This little hero saved 3 cats from the flood, which means they now officially owe him 27 lives. Guy controls that ball down the stairs better than I control my life on a Monday morning. Her oven looks so futuristic that I'm not sure if she's baking rolls or launching satellites into space. The bus driver ran out faster than passengers when they see ticket inspectors at the front door. Guy is carrying so many sacks on his shoulders that his spine is probably shaped like a question mark. This quad is flying over the dunes so fast that the sand is still trying to figure out what hit it. Dog carries grocery bags so proudly that all he's missing is a loyalty rewards card. Man packs those popcorns at the speed of light, yet they still cost like they're filled with pure gold. She jumps over obstacles with such ease that I get tired just watching her feet never touch the ground. Hero from the van saved the phone from the car roof before it became an expensive ornament on the asphalt. She bends so much in the park that seniors call an ambulance. The hot air balloon landed like it was piloted by a drunk captain who confused the meadow with a bowling alley. Guy makes art out of plain cardboard, while the only thing I know how to make from cardboard is a mess in the hallway. The guy organized a proposal with so much fire and music that the girl initially thought a war had started. These two tied themselves with an elastic band as if planning to launch into space instead of doing a set. The guy jumped into the torrent so bravely that adrenaline probably replaced all the blood in his body. Lady is trying to steal ostrich eggs using her feet, as if playing the most dangerous game of Ludo in history. Man has been kissing the dog for so long that I've started to suspect the dog actually owes him some money. Guy jumped so high that gravity sent him a final notice before disconnection. This man has nothing, yet he decided to share his only meal with the dog that is his only family. The guy spins that sledgehammer around like it's made of plastic, not pure bone-crushing iron. Cat was swimming in the river like it was prepping for the Olympics, until a guy appeared with a giant grabber. That backflip looked like slow motion. A group of people is trying to pull a jeep out of a manhole using willpower and 3 ropes that look like they're made of wool. Circus life is tough because your feet serve as a parking spot for colleagues while they show off in the air. Grandma was overjoyed to see the bride, but she immediately asked how much the cabbage rolls cost at the wedding because priorities must be known. Running on concrete pillars is the perfect sport for people who find stairs simply too boring and safe. Grass is the greatest enemy of wheels, right after high curbs and poorly placed ramps. Skydiving is the only hobby where you pay people to throw you out of a perfectly good airplane directly into the clouds. Victory over a gaming machine brings more confidence than a university degree, at least in the local arcade. The uniformed officer realized it's harder to win at hopscotch than to catch a petty thief. Skating with a skateboard sounds like a perfect plan for someone who wants to break both hips at once. They bought a four-wheel drive car just to get it stuck in 3 centimeters of wet grass. The kitchen became a concert hall because the lady prefers rhythm over cooking lunch. River cleaning is the only fishing where you hope you won't catch an old tire or a shoe. Acrobats look like a human knot that nobody knows how to untie. The little sister uses emotions as a secret weapon to get a double portion of chocolate. Willpower is stronger than any wheelchair when a registrar awaits you at the end of the path. Gentlemen still exist, though they usually hide behind modern haircuts and tattoos. The box was huge, but the content was better than any latest toy. An ice sandwich made of 2 boulders isn't exactly what the guys planned for this weekend. The asphalt became the wettest place in town after the pickup truck decided to unload itself. Kat looked at the firefighters from above, wondering why it took them so long to climb up. They drag the ladder like they're setting up a concert stage, while the animal looks down at them with total content. When they finally reach it, it scratches them and retreats to an even higher branch just to prove who's the boss. The biker revs his engine behind them hoping to pass, but these two keep a 5-centimeter gap like they're guarding a state secret. They drive slowly, enjoying the smell of someone else's burnt fuel and pure nervousness. She didn't know the camera was still on her. This touching scene shows the baby climbing unnoticed onto the mother's lap. The mother, in a trance, still continues to rock the empty cradle. They just wanted to help her, but when his girlfriend saw this, she left him. Tractor leaned too much in the curve, which was the direct cause of the entire load falling off. Now the driver has to collect all that mess from the asphalt. Timely reaction saved the drivers. Fortunately, they noticed the collapse and managed to stop in time. Continuing the journey is now impossible. Strong wind was the cause of the huge tree falling, which crashed right onto the road in front of the car, stopping it in a second. Fleeing from the police had unexpected consequences as the rear of the towing vehicle broke apart in the middle of the chase. The police quickly caught the escapee. No one expected such a customer. The animal rushed into the store and moved between the shelves with brutal force. The damage is huge and hilarious at the same time. Neighbor tried to be the hero of the day, but it quickly became clear that without the right equipment, he wouldn't succeed. The ball was finally returned to the boys with the help of a tall ladder. Inattention cost dearly. The car rolled uncontrollably until it hit the garden and smashed the wooden fence. The girl will surely remember the handbrake next time. Vehicle was parked on extremely unstable ground, which led to a catastrophe. The driver avoided the fall, but his van disappeared into the chasm. His frustration escalated into complete destruction after the load fell from his shoulder. The rage was so great that the fan became his victim. The tattoo work is seriously insane. She pulls a pot out of her bag like a magician with a rabbit, and a pack larger than the local hunting club forms around her. Whale lies still and probably thinks these tiny humans in rubber suits are actually very handy sea leeches. While they strip the seaweed, he just blows bubbles and enjoys a scrub he didn't pay a cent for. He arranges twigs with such care that even architects would envy his patience. The swan, on the other hand, just fixes what the man did, just to show him who has better taste in interior design. Rescuers pull a man from the car while he frantically asks if his keys are still in the ignition under 2 meters of water. Train honks in the distance, and a group of amateur rescuers struggles with a pup that thinks this is just one long and dangerous game of catch. One pulls his tail, another lures him with a cookie, and the dog just happily flaps his ears. Driver stands by a wheel buried halfway in the ground, looking at the sky as if waiting for aliens to pull him out with a magnet. Cows graze nearby, wondering about the new metal mountain that ruined their pasture. Luckily, she looked up at the ceiling just in time. He pulled out a ring that shines brighter than his future, while she pretends she didn't see the jewelry store receipt in his pocket this morning. Everyone in the cafe pulled out their phones because if the proposal isn't on Instagram, it's like it never happened. Shovel is bigger than him, but he doesn't give up because he was promised warm pie and maybe a few euros for games. The lady cheers him on, telling him how in her day, the snow was 3 meters deep and cleared with a spoon. They sit in the snow waiting for wolves, hoping to take the photo of a lifetime before they become part of the food chain. Turtle watches them, praying they don't cut her head off while trying to be humane. When the metal snaps, she bolts into the water faster than anyone thought possible. The refugee opens the box and can't believe there's not just food inside, but a pair of new socks too. They hug so hard they almost knocked over a nearby tent. She leaned her head on his, and he stopped chewing hay just to not ruin her moment. It's pure love, provided she has at least one sugar cube in her pocket. Suddenly, they stopped being road enemies and became partners in the fight against hunger. The cop wipes sugar off his uniform, and the biker slowly revs up before the officer changes his mind. The other skier digs with hands and feet like searching for buried treasure at the bottom of a freezer. When he finally saw the helmet, he sighed in relief knowing his friend could still pay him back. Wynn tries to snatch their umbrella, but she holds it tight like defending a fortress. The old man thanks her but complains that rain in his day was warmer and nicer. Old lady opens the door and her smile stretches from ear to ear, seeing the little visitor. Inside is a drawing and some cookies that are likely a bit burnt, but the sweetest in the world. While he saws the metal, the owner watches from the window calmly sipping coffee before calling the police. The poor guy sweated so much it would have been easier to build the bike from scratch. A man approaches with a rope, and since the bear can't see anything, he just bumps into trees like a broken vacuum. When the bucket finally popped off, the bear looked at his savior and decided not to eat him for breakfast. Driver sits on the roof waiting for the bucket to lift him, praying the cable doesn't snap midair. It looks like a movie scene, except the stuntman has a belly and is cursing the GPS that led him there. Drivers move aside thinking he's an angry plainclothes cop or at least a very nervous pizza delivery guy. The ambulance passes, and he feels like a parade leader in an action movie. His tail works like a fan on high speed while he tries to be polite and not eat her fingers too. The girl baby talks to him, and the dog is just waiting for the moment she drops the whole sandwich. The jersey reaches his knees and smells like the sweat of millions of euros, but the boy wouldn't wash it even for 10 straight days. The father next to him cries with joy, though he's secretly sad he wasn't 10 years younger. Bucket rises, and the cat spins inside like on a carousel of death. When he drops her in, she scratches him just to keep him entertained at that height. He's 10 meters high, the wind is blowing, and the cat looks at him with a "who even invited you up here" face. When he finally puts her in the bag, she bites him just to thank him for the effort. The bird screams and flaps its wings, while the soldiers' crew stay calm, little warrior, as they cut the plastic. They look tough with guns, but their hands shake because they're afraid of hurting a tiny wing. People from the shore jump to help, and he watches them as water enters his ears and ruins his plan for romantic rowing. They pull him out along with the kayak, which is now fuller of water than the river. They're wet to the knees and smell like silk, but they're competing to find the weirdest piece of trash in the water. They even found one shoe, so now they're looking for the owner who's probably been walking barefoot on one leg for decades. People run with knives, and the seal looks at them with those big sad eyes saying, "Just don't turn me into a coat." When they cut the last thread, she did a backflip and jumped into freedom. When they all shouted, "Happy birthday," the old man almost had a heart attack from all the love and confetti. Tears streamed down his face as they hand him a cake larger than his TV. When he took off the mask and started laughing, Mom first cursed at him, then hugged him as hard as possible. This time, instead of the tree, the Grinch only stole one long, warm hug from Mom. The croc watches him from the water with cold eyes, wondering if the chicken is the appetizer and the man the main course. It's cold, snow is falling, and the guy is trying to be a reptile whisperer in wool socks. He started crying like a child because it's the first time in his life someone gave him something with 4 wheels and a working engine. He immediately sat inside and started honking while his family laughed and filmed every moment.